the lack of dominance from Jamaica. They didn't really do anything. There was a lot to be desired, and I thought that the Jamaicans were going to dominate.
And I predicted Akeem Blake would win on home soil. Yeah, I was really surprised. I thought that, more Jamaican athletes were going to really come and put on a show. And unfortunately, bro, it didn't happen.
But, him saying Noah Lyles is not on my level. Line it up today. Pressure's different. How was your takeaway on that? The Grand Slam Kingston track meet was the most hyped track and field competition in the history of the world that was not a world championship. People what was the vibe from other pros?
Yeah, we on the group FaceTime day one. We gotta get our names in the pot for this one because it's such an opportunity. But the person that impressed me the most really was Kenny Bednarek, bro. Like Kenny said he's there to dominate, and he really showed up and did exactly that, bro.
Welcome back to another episode, Track World News Podcast. Your host, Colin Waitsman, here with our esteemed co-host, Mr. Noah Williams. Noah, how you doing today, brother?
Hey, man, blessed and highly favored, bro. We in a new season of track and field, a new world. We just broke the new walls down. So, I'm excited, bro. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Definitely a little tired. Just came off of doing some announcing, broadcasting, co-stream with Total Running Productions, who was doing a co-stream of Grand Slam track, which we'll get into a whole bunch. So a lot of talking of track over the last few days. So definitely locked in on what happened here in the pro track and field realm. But overall, doing well. How about yourself?
Hey, man, I'm doing great, bro. I'm feeling good, bro. I'm ready to talk some track, man.
Let's get into it. Might as well just start right off. Grand Slam track. So before we get into the competition and the individual results and where we think things are going to be going, I do want to talk about, I guess, just the lead up to this, the hype, the event as a whole. And I think that there was there was a lot of criticism coming into this meet. Some, I think, fairly given, and others not so fairly given to Grand Slam track. And over the course of the week leading up to this, and I guess if Noah, you can let me know if you have any other perspectives on this. This Grand Slam meet, the Grand Slam Kingston track meet, was the most hyped track and field competition in the history of the world that was not a world championship. Like any regular season track meet, there's been no other regular season track meet that's bigger than this. There have been moments, I think, that have been more exciting, like the 2021 Prefontaine 100 meters. Like that was a very, the return of Sha'Carri Richardson after her suspension. That was an exciting moment, but no track meet as a whole, I think, has captured the eyes of the world much like this one. And that's not easy to do. I mean, there's a lot of track meets here. There's a lot that have been doing this for a whole lot longer, and to be that exciting, I think was is one of one.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I would agree with you that this is the most hyped up track meet that I've witnessed in my life, as far as regular season track meet, of course. It's definitely the most hyped up meet, and I think the execution and everything was a bit better than I had expected going into it. But nonetheless, bro, the hype around it, the attention that they were able to grab at this point of the season was really special. And I think that they really capitalized on it and executed well. So to the people that really doubted and had a lot of bad things to say about the league, I would be interested to hear their perspective now. After one, we kind of got a taste of it and kind of see what it's looking like. But right now, I'm a big fan, bro. I'm a big fan of Grand Slam right now.
Same. Yeah, I think they did a lot of things right, and it could be very difficult to do so. Like, we're talking about how hype this was, and if I were to tell you just an hypothetical situation, a year ago, hey, there's going to be races that have men running 11.5 or what was it, 10.5s, running 10.5 100 meters, and that is going to be, and the person that won that is going to have the best celebration that you've ever seen in your life. You would be like, what am I watching? A varsity track meet, dual meet in Texas? What are we watching here? And it's No, like the times didn't matter really at all. It was the competition that, and I think like that's what Michael Johnson and Grand Slam track was talking about. Like they want to get away from just the times of it. And as a person that's really invested in it, like I found myself like not really caring about where the times were. I was like, yo, where did this person finish? Like who's getting 100K? Who's like, oh man, that was a 50K mess up that you had. We'll get into a couple of those, but like it was exciting to see that.
Absolutely, bro. I think they're marketing the art of the sport versus the science of the sport. The science obviously being what was the time? Was it a fast time? Was it a slow time? But this is to a casual fan or to any fan, really, you see competitors competing to see who can finish first. And I think that's kind of the biggest emphasis over everything. Who is the slam champion? Who is the champion here? And the point system and the breakdown system seemed pretty fluid to me. I don't know, maybe to somebody it might have been confusing, but I felt like it was pretty fluid and well thought out. And just the production of it kind of gave me like a bit of like a PGA Tour feel, kind of the way that they painted it. But the graphics was like a Monday Night Football statistic kind of graphic, so they meshed a lot of things really, really well. Commentary was like College Game Day. Sonya Richards-Ross did a great job, bro. Like I was so excited to talk to you because days 1, 2, and 3, I was just super, super impressed. And I thought there were a lot of highlights and good things to talk about.
Yeah, like they're talking about doing some things differently. And one other thing that I really liked was where they had a few athletes that, and they showed them off the track, Gabby Thomas trying out snacks in Jamaica and ranking them from 1 to 10, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden giving a tour of the hotel that they're at, like those things where it's the time in between races when a lot of tracks are either going to just give you a wide shot with nothing. They're giving you a little more personality. And like you get to see like no, like what you see that Melissa Jefferson-Wooden hates Bird. She's like, oh my God, I hate that. I don't want to see it. Or that Gabby Thomas hates bananas. Like just things that, like for a regular fan, like, oh, these are interesting to know. Like, oh man, I also don't like Bird. I also like this. I also like that. Like, so I think they really did a good job of connecting interpersonally in between these celebrities and people that are, seen as so much higher, and getting the common person to be able to, really attach to them.
Absolutely, bro. That was definitely an intentional angle. I was like kind of thrown off because I remember the screen went black. It was like for like they were in the blocks or getting ready to get in the blocks. And the screen went black, and all of a sudden it was Gabby Thomas sitting at a table like eating chips. I'm like, okay, I guess I can get behind this. A little vanilla, but it's cool. Like I could see the intention behind it, and like you said, it kind of gives a personal relationship to the viewer to Gabby in particular or Melissa. Because we would assume that these are going to be people that will be finishing at the top 2, 3 every single time. So there'll be a common face.
Yeah. And then some other one that I was curious, because this was the first time we saw this segment of, two different events. Like many times as pros, you're going in, you're running one event, you're leaving, especially in the regular season. Like we never see people do multiple events. I remember it was like a big deal last year when Brittany Brown did the 100 and 200 at like a diamond league. Like, oh my God, is she going to be all right? Like that just, it doesn't happen, but everyone did that at this point. Some better than others, and some competitions were closer than others. But what were your thoughts on that format? I know there were some question marks on if it would go well, but how did you think it went?
It made everything way more intriguing, bro. Like, let's use the women's long sprints, for example. They ran the 200 first, and obviously everybody thought Gabby should win. She's the Olympic champion. She won. But it was interesting to see how second place, third place, fourth place would shake out because we knew it would be, a competition on the next day. And it brings more parity. Like, okay, Gabby won the 2, but what could she do in the 4? Oh, wow, she went out and beat Paulino. That's crazy. Nobody expected that, right? Because typically that would be Paulino's event to lose, really. So I thought that angle of it made it more impressive for me, and it made it more like, what's the word? Like, I don't know. Just I was more curious. Like I was more curious to see what that outcome would look like.
Yeah, like I agree. I think that it allowed for more storylines to build of like, we saw in the interview after day one where Vernon Norwood was I think Demetrio was interviewing him, and he's like, I got to go out and win. Like, I got to come in first. It didn't happen, but he's like, I got to win so I can come out with this 100K. Like, if I don't, like, I don't even have a chance here. And so it's like that spirit of competition that was really building because of because of the ramifications and what they meant. We also saw it happened yesterday and today, of like where there may not be as much it's not as close with the two races, like the 800 and the 1500, where I mean the 1500, the 1500 meter racers had a terrible race strategy. They allowed for the 800 guy to stay in that race way too long, and he eventually won it. And then it was just not even close because none of them have the foot speed to keep up with an 800 meter guy. And so it shows probably to them for the next Grand Slam, oh, we got to get out like a rocket here, or like a what was the line that you said, like a shot,
like
get
a
out,
shot, yeah.
Right off rip, because if they get within the top four here, like we know we can't keep up in that 800. So I think it'll be interesting to see how those strategies kind of develop over the course of these next three slams that they have.
Absolutely, bro. And I might be alone when I say this, like, might get me in trouble here, but I don't really care to see the distance events in this Grand Slam circuit. I think if we're going to speak on, maybe I jumped the gun here, if we're going to speak on something that I necessarily didn't like or they could change, move forward, like, I just think the removal of distance events could be helpful to the situation.
Interesting. Up to what distance and why?
I think I would tap out at 1500, like 800, 1500. I think that's a good mix, but watching that, it kind of, I was losing interest a little bit personally, and I'm in the sport. Like, I love the sport. Feel me? And I was losing interest as well. I thought the cellies were cool. The celebrations at the end were cool, but like, it was a lot of just sitting and watching. And I think that's a very stale part of a track and field meet. So, I think that could be changed or tweaked. But other than that, bro, I was in awe.
What would you put in its place if they're like, okay, 3K, 5K, we're taking it out, we're doing something else instead? Would you just remove it and have it a shorter event, or replace it with a different race?
We don't need nothing else. We're good. Everything we got right now up to 1500, we're good. Like, what do we need? What else do we need? In my opinion, and that's that's what I think.
You could do a relay. You could have it finish with a 4x4. So replace the 1500 with like a 4x4 or something like that. That's about the only thing I could think of.
Nah, because that's a whole thing. You got to find a bunch of people to run. Like, nah, So I think if they just keep everything how it is and just remove that distance event or the distance group, I don't. I just don't think it's necessary. But I think maybe to draw distance fans to the sport. I don't know, but I didn't like it personally.
Yeah, I mean the 5K or 3K that it was today, where the guy of Bekele, he was just ahead by literally 100 meters, and so it's hard to continue to watch, and where when you're winning by that much, like it's hard to maintain interest. So yeah, I mean, I'm not really as interested in distance over 1500. Like, I'd be curious to see what the TV numbers are saying of, hey, where were people tuning out? Like, I know when we were doing our stream, like, I mean, it's kind of a little different because Total Running Productions does a lot of distance events. So he has a lot of distance fans there, but we were peaking with a lot more of those sprinting events as well. There's just a lot more drawl to it. So I'd be curious to see what those are for next year when they're going into it, of would they make any pivots or just kind of keep it rolling,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I mean, but overall, like, I thought it went well. I like the trophy that they had, presenting of the checks. I wish this was what I wanted. I've said this multiple times. They need to give them, I put on Twitter, they need to give them cash so they can do a money spread on all these people. Just like start flexing all these like 100 bands. Like, that would be so ghetto and hood. I would love it, and we need it. Just flexing on people. Give them gold pinky rings while we at it. Like, I digress. But overall, great presentation. I thought the additions with different announcers, like, because we were so used to the same people. I mean, we know Sonia Richards-Ross does it a lot, but we haven't seen her with John Anderson before because he was with ESPN. We haven't seen Anson on this before. Matt Centrowitz was a great addition, to this thing. And so giving some interesting insight. So I thought that they had a good crew that was there that made it more interesting and made it compelling.
Absolutely, bro. I would agree. And I said at the beginning of the show, like, shout out to Sonya, because I thought that the job she was doing, like, she was just knocking it out of the park. Like I said, it gave college game day vibes, the way that they had the booth set up, the way that they was kind of painting the picture of the meet, keeping people informed as to how it was going to. They were like narrators to the whole thing. So I thought they did a great job.
I'm curious for you. I mean, you have friends that are competing, that competed in this. You have training partners that were competing in this. I'm sure you also have friends that are watching this as well that did not do, Grand Slam. How was your phone blowing up a little bit? Did you see any people, like, what was the vibe from other pros of, hey, I need to do this. This looks bad. Like, what was the vibe that you were getting?
Yeah, we on the group FaceTime day one. Group FaceTime. Yo, bro, we got to get in this shit, bro. We gotta get our names in the pot for this one, because it's such an opportunity. I seen Eric Edwards. Eric Edwards is an unsponsored guy. That's my dog. But he even posted it like, yo, I'm just grateful for this opportunity. Like, and that's what it is. It's a big opportunity for a lot of athletes that aren't pulling in the revenue, from maybe a shoe deal. Now they got opportunity to go win 30K, in 2 days. And Eric tweeted it. He said, I just made enough money to pay rent for 2 years. That can support his dream. That could keep him on the path that he's on. So, it's really changing a lot, and it's creating a lot of opportunity for us in the sport. Like, it's never been a better time, I don't think, than right now, the money that's out there to be made for us.
Yeah, I mean, Jareem Richards, like, he even said it, like, in a post-race interview. This is a guy that has been in track and field at the top, is one of the highest levels for a decade. And he even said, and he didn't even win this. He came in third place? And he said, this was the most money that I've ever made in a weekend in track and field. Think about that. You have someone that's a sponsored athlete, global medalist, world champion, that is saying this is the most that I've ever won, and I didn't even come in first. That just shows how big of a deal this series can be and how impactful it'll be. Like, I'm sure there's tons of other athletes just like you that were all tuning in, like, all right, let's see how this thing goes. And I'm really interested now of who, like, how many of those agents, like, how many missed calls does Michael Johnson have, for Miami? How many missed calls do you have for Philly? Like, I'm sure a lot of challengers are going to want to come out, and it should be a compelling and exciting competitions coming up here.
Absolutely, bro. This gonna bring out some dogs, bro. And we seen, hey, shout out to Chris Bailey too, because you seen he had the Nike kit on, so my boy got the shoe deal. My boy secured second place with a new world lead in the 400. So, man, bro, I'm happy for him too. So it's dope, man, just to see the energy and what's coming of this right now, and it's early.
Yeah, it's early. Like, we don't, like, usually track and field doesn't get popping like this until
July.
June, July. Like, that's when things start popping. Like, now I can't wait until they start announcing who the challengers are going to be for Miami. Like, when is that going to start happening? Because we got 40. Like, that's another thing that's so exciting about this. Like, there's 48 people that are going to get announced in between today and a month from now, because that's going to be happening in the beginning of May. Who are those people going to be? I hope some of them will be returning faces that won. Like, there were some really fun and exciting ones, but there's going to be a whole bunch of new individuals that are going to be trying out, and some racers that were injured that are going to be back here. We saw Devin Allen tweet out, right after this, he's like, I got to get back. Like, he was injured and wasn't able to compete here. So I'm sure it's going to be fun. It's going to be compelling, and good job on them for making a good product. It definitely wasn't easy, I'm sure.
Facts, bro. And so, logistical part aside, for the performance aspect, bro, it's early, and I didn't look too deeply into the times, nothing that. But the person that impressed me the most really was Kenny Bednarek, bro. Like, Kenny said he's there to dominate, and he really showed up and did exactly that, bro. Like, the time wasn't crazy fast, but they're both good openers nonetheless. And for him to go and put on a show like that, bro, I was impressed. So I thought Kenny killed it.
Yeah, I mean, he was talking about leading up to this, how big of a focus he had on his start. And that was extraordinarily apparent in his 100 meters, where he got out first, and no one was able to really come back and catch him, especially with how strong of a runner he is, because he has that 200-meter background. And then in the 200, I mean, Fred got out early. Like, he had the best start in that 200, and Kenny was able to fight back and then get that win and comfortably towards the end there. And so yeah, he had a dominant performance, like you said, from start to finish. Like, even from the walk-ins, like he was everyone was talking about him, his new nickname, 100K Kenny. So it's like he was bringing that energy of like, nah, I'm the star of the show here, and it went well, obviously, for him.
Yeah, facts. Shout out to Kenny, bro. Shout out to Kenny. Hey, that outfit was trash though, dog. Hey, no smut, no hate. The outfit was trash, dog. But you went out there and killed it though this weekend, bro. So I'm proud of you for that, man. Keep it up. But change that. That fit was weak, bro. Okay.
Damn. Coming in with the trash. That thing was trash. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, as a man myself, I notably cannot dress at all. I'm in no position to say if anyone's fit is trash or not. I wear the same t-shirt thing like every day. So that take it from Noah, the fashionista. Some other stuff though. What I was kind of surprised with Kenny's win, the lack of dominance from Jamaica. Like, Jamaica, they didn't really do anything here. Like we didn't see really much of anything from Oblique. We didn't see much of anything from Blake. We didn't see much of anything from what was it, Rashawn. Like, there was a lot to be desired, and I thought that the Jamaicans were going to dominate this race. You're on home soil. You have all the reason to do well, and they typically open up well. What did you think? I mean, do you have the same feeling, or am I off base here?
Bro, we spoke on it last week, and I predicted Akeem Blake would win on home soil. That's what I thought was going to happen. I know that the Jamaican athletes have a lot of pride in being from Jamaica, and that's really like the first big meet since they redid the track there. It looks beautiful too, by the way. But yeah, I was really surprised. I thought that more Jamaican athletes were going to really come and put on a show, and unfortunately, bro, it didn't happen. And then we go to Florida, little 4x1. The Jamaican team didn't look too good against DR, which was crazy to me. That was crazy to me. So, like, I don't know what's going on. It's early. Like, we can't jump the gun. Of course, it's early, but hey, it looked a little spooky, just a little bit spooky. It's something to keep our eye on for sure.
Yeah, like that's where I'm at right now. Of like, look, we know that y'all don't play eventually. Like, y'all gonna be there eventually, I'm sure. But like right now, it's like y'all ain't show up. Like, this was the time to do so. You're in Kingston, new track, your home soil. You got the Vuvuzelas in the background. Like, this is where you're supposed to put that stuff on, and you didn't do it. Like, kind of scary.
So do Gabby Thomas count?
Yeah, she said that she's basically Jamaican. Her grandfather,
her family was there.
I was like, that's crazy. She claimed she took the win on your home soil, claimed she's Jamaican. There are a lot of USA athletes that have been doing that recently. Like, they've been, or other people. I know Dina Asher. I mean, her parents are from Jamaica. She's not American, but we gotta. I know Noah. He was talking about how he loves going to Jamaica. It was last year when he went there. Usain Bolt. He was talking about There's a lot of
racers meet.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. They gotta look out for it. Like, see what they can pull up next competition. Although they'll probably be talking a lot of trash of pin relays, so we'll see them soon. We'll see them.
Yeah,
soon.
we'll see about it. We'll see about it for sure.
Then I guess go on to the women's side for the 100. Melissa Jefferson also with the sweep in the 100 and the 200 there as well. She's been just like, she's so locked in when she's races, like just straight like death stare down the track, extraordinarily like focused in. And this was her first 200 since college down in coastal Carolina, and was able to hold off Jenna Prandini, who is known for her 200-meter prowess. Of like, that's something she's fairly consistent at. And to be able to hold her off at the end there, where it's neck and neck, like, I feel that's a pretty good win for her, and to be able to bring home both of those victories. I thought it was impressive. While once again the times were left something to be desired, it's the people that they beat and then the fashion that they did so was impressive to me.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Shout out to Melissa. She ran well. She competed well. I thought Jenna looked good too in that 200. Like she looked incredible. But for Melissa to catch win like that and edge her at the end, that was nice. So both women did great. I thought the field of the short sprints, Jasis did well. Daryl Nita did well. So yeah, it was a lot of good names in there. Overall, like it was a lot of good names in the meet. Period. You know what I mean? Superstars in every event. So yeah, it was dope.
Yeah. What were some? What would you say the next competition that really kind of caught your attention? Over the weekend.
You said what was the next
Yeah, which
competition?
one? Yeah, so we had the both the short sprints, with Melissa and Kenny were good. Outside, which one would you say next? Whether it's one of the long sprints or the hurdles, kind of to you, caught your eye with some impressive performances.
It was definitely the women's long sprints, that 400. Nasser got the win, Gabby got second, and Paulino got third. That I don't think anybody predicted that going in. I think consensus, everybody thought it would be Paulino or Nasser 1-2, and Gabby might get third or something. But for Gabby to run that well and PR, she ran 49-1, 49-14. So she had a hell of a meet, bro. I think she people like to put smut on Gabby. For one reason or another, I couldn't tell you, but she went in and popped her shit, bro. Like for her to beat Paulino in the 4, that's crazy. Like that's not little. Like yeah, it's times, it's early in the season, but head to head, I beat you in your shit in your event. I did that.
It's going to be hard to keep her off the 4x4 now. Like I think after seeing what she saw, like in the open 4, what she did on the relay at the Olympics, just how large of a star she is right now and how she's going to progress over the course of the next few seasons. I don't see a relay in the foreseeable future that doesn't have Gabby Thomas on it. Like 4x1 or 4x4. Like she's just cemented herself as one of those top athletes that is showing up time in and time out and expanding her reach from the 100 all the way up to the 400. It's not easy to do. I saw a few people on Twitter like saying, "Is this like our modern day version of the Allison Felix?" She doesn't have those accolades right now. I know Allison Felix dominated for a much longer time, but when it comes to range of being able to go all the way down from the 1 to the 4, like yeah, I mean, I see the comparisons here of, they not many sprinters have that type of range currently in our sport.
Yeah, for sure. She's super talented, bro. So that might be a good take, bro. I think if she's on that 4x4 consistently, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But we'll see how it goes, brother.
Yeah, no, it was good. Like I think it should be some solid competitions there. But yeah, shout out Gabby for sure. Then you I'm curious for you with the men's long sprints. So you were right. I was wrong. I even went on our stream. I guaranteed that Jareem Richards was going to win the 200, and I was dead wrong. I was very surprised. Just what were your thoughts on how that the long sprints kind of played out there with Matthew Hudson-Smith coming out with the victory there?
Yeah, first foremost, man, shout out to Matt. He ran well, competed well. But I kind of seen everything coming. I mean, I might have been a little bit off in the 200, but I knew Chris was in the type of shape where he should have won that race. That time was incredible this early in the season. But I thought that Chris was in a position to win the race for sure, based on his indoor season. And most of these guys just opening up their season. Now, the thing that surprised me in the 2, I thought it was going to be Vernon and Jareem. Now, Jareem did get second, but I thought Vernon was going to win the race based on how he had opened up prior to this meet. So other than that, I wasn't really too surprised. I'm just happy for the guys, getting their name in the pot. And Chris obviously stole the show in that 400. Even though he didn't win overall, I think the most memorable thing from that group was the open 4, and Chris took that home.
Yeah. Now I thought it was pretty much lock for him to go through with what he's had for this early in the season with the indoor season. I put a couple dollars on the Chris Bailey win. Same with the Naser. So yeah, we we hit well. We hit well this weekend. We did I. But no, yeah, I think some good performances from them. And yeah, I mean, I was surprised with Dream, but good finish. He with Matt, he really kind of pulled or reeled him back in when I didn't think that would have been really possible for him at the time. But something, I guess, kind of unrelated. You tweeted about this of them uniforms, though. You're not liking these Nike kits, huh?
Yeah, bro. The Nike shit weak. I can't lie to you. The women, it look okay on the women because it's a 2-piece. But the men's kit, bro, it's fried. Like, they tried to, like, the color block. I'll probably look cool in it, but I ain't gonna wear their gear. I ain't repping their gear. I ain't repping their brand. So, but Adidas shit fire. I feel like if anybody say it's not, they're kind of lying. Like, you seen Daryl Nita in the women's version, the red 2-piece. Couple of the guys had the 400, had the red version on. The world champs, Olympic champs had the white one. No, yo, Adidas killing right now, bro.
Did you get your I don't know, do they ship them all at the same time? Like
They ship them around the same time. So some people got mine ain't hit the door yet, bro. I'm excited for it to hit the door. So
you gotta do an unboxing video.
For sure.
Yeah, no, that'd be straight. So based on what you've seen, which color combo do you think you rocking for your first meet?
I'm wearing all red, baby.
The red? All right.
All red, man. Yeah. I might dye my hair red to go with the jersey.
All right, Playboy Cardi, settle down. That'd be crazy. Awesome. Well, wanted to go over. We chatted on it just briefly a little bit with the 110 hurdles, and you talked about it with Eric Edwards. I think there was a lot of storylines of people where can really make a name and keep this dream going. I mean, we had Dylan Beard, who was there and who's running for Walmart, currently still working a full-time job. You were talking about your friend, Eric Edwards, friend of the show, have his jersey in the thing that both y'all signed, still hanging up on the wall here. And how you said that pays a year of rent. Like, that's a lot of stuff that these types of things can do, coaches fees and all that. That was, we saw Dylan Beard. I mean, he came in second, and Sasha won with probably the best celebration of anyone that's ever ran a 10.5 in their life. That dude was hype. Like, he was lit going through that thing. Like, that's like, you don't see that type of celebration in April, like in track and field. That doesn't happen. Like, that's what type of energy like this type of thing brings, because there's so much more to it.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. He was turned, and I loved every second of it. I loved every second of it. You see how he got into the crowd. He had Justin dapping up Justin Gatlin, Safa Powell. Like, it was cool. Kenny was there, and that was a cool moment with the cameras, how they captured it too, and how they made that part of the broadcast. Like, that was very good. That's what we want to see. Like, after a PGA Tour, you see Tiger Woods winning. Everybody going crazy, and that's an element that we can adopt as well. Pop your shit after you win. So shout out to Sasha, man. I didn't know he had that in him. He seemed like a real chill guy, real calm guy, but he was turned.
Now, yeah, ever since I saw him in that U20 championship when he broke that U20 world record a little while ago, I think were you there? I think you mentioned you competed against. I thought you said you competed against him at some point, or maybe you just saw him.
Yeah, I saw him at the world championship.
Okay, you just saw. Okay, I knew it was something that you had mentioned, but yeah, like, he's got, he's got energy that he can be a select, like one of a big name in this, should he continue to, perform really well. Like, he's got a great personality for it. But, yeah, I mean, like, they were showed the stats of that. And because Dylan Beard came in like 5th or something. And so that he lost out by 0.01 seconds on 500,000 on $50,000. Like, it's like, damn, yo, this is a major win for me. Like, yo, I just won all this cash. But then, and they were, he and Cordell were joking around after. I saw a camera of it. But then I'd be like, probably when you're on your flight home, you gotta be thinking like, damn, I was 0.01 away from doubling what I got right now. Are you kidding me? Like, that's gonna hit soon, and that'd be a tough one to go for, but still, great amount of cash for sure.
Facts, bro. Hey, yo, another performance that really impressed me though was Tia Jones, bro. Yo, Tia Jones, all that drama shit going on. We all know about it. You feel me? But yo, for her to come out there and pop her shit like that in the 100 hurdles, I was impressed, bro. Like it was some real dogs in that field, Olympic champions in that field, plural. And she went out there and got the dub, at least in the hurdle part. You know, the 100 was a little spooky, but you know, the hurdles she popped her shit, so that was cool to see.
Yeah, no, I mean, Anson even mentioned it on the cast. He was like, "Yo, like, there's a lot of, I'm sure, tons of different distractions going on the offside, of what's going on. I mean, similar with Fred, I'm sure there's a lot of distractions of what's going on the offside of the track, and it can be very hard to be in the moment, locked in on something that is so important when you've got outside factors that are playing. And she dropped the world lead, like that is not easy to do in general, let alone with the content. And she also wasn't going to be competing in this until like the day before. Like she just so happened to be in Jamaica with her training group. And I think Nia Ali pulled out that day, and they were like, we need somebody to be in here. And she just so happened to be in Jamaica. And they're like, all right, like, come on out. Like, you want to do this? And she ended up competing. So that storyline to it made it even crazier, given the situations of which she is in.
Yeah, she tough for that, bro. Hey, hats off for that one, brother. That's tough. That is tough.
Yeah, running on like 12 hours notice, and you're like, all right, you got to do 100 now. Be like, all right, let's do it.
Free
Wow.
cash though. You feel me? That's free cash at that point.
That's free cash, man. So excellent performances by them. I think overall, just like an exciting competition where I'm looking forward to seeing where this is going to go for next year, or not next year. Sorry, in a month from now. I mean, you mentioned one thing of changing being uh the distant, like taken out of those distance events. What else would you say, now that we've been able to finish this, something that you would be like, hey, let's change this, or areas to update for some certain aspect?
I'm good. Like I think we're good with everything we got. Just to the athletes, y'all got to put some better fits together. That was like I was really upset looking at that page before the meet. I was like, man, y'all no hate, no hate and stuff. But as far as what we could change, just take away the distance, and I think everything will run just that much more smooth.
Okay. The one thing that I would change would be the scheduling of events. Uh, I think that you can't have all, like, every on Sunday, like today, all of the secondary events happen today. Like, we're having the highlight be, we have 110-meter hurdlers running the 100, and we've got 100-meter hurdlers running the 100. Like, I would have loved to have this be at least one of the on events happening. Like, could have we had the one of the hurdlers have their event on today, or could have we had maybe the when it's the 2-4, one of the, where you have more short sprinters, have that be kind of where it is, because it felt like there's so many secondary events that were happening at this event. I would have loved to have flipped some things around, or maybe have one of the hurdle events happen on Friday, Saturday, and then change some of those short sprints from Friday, Saturday to Saturday, Sunday. Maybe just like that would have been a little bit better, because I can only watch so many 11.7 100-meter dashes, and I get it. The competition was great, but I still would have loved to see some more of that. So that's nitpicking, really. Like still, it's good stuff, but that would really be the only switch that I would probably have here.
For sure, respect. I respect that, bro. For sure.
But overall, I thought it was a really solid competition, and something that was exciting. One thing to kind of switch gears, it was a little bit related to what we saw, also not really related to the track meet, but we saw that Fred Kerley podcast that came out. You saw that interview of the timing was, I mean, I'm sure probably planned to be right around this Grand Slam track meet that happened, but him saying Noah Lyles is not on my level. Like, line it up today. Pressure's different, even though they came out and they competed against each other, 6 times now. it took the podcast hosts that were on there, and I think the track world as a whole by surprise. When you're saying, wait a minute, the person that's the Olympic champion isn't on your level, but he beat you? Whoa, I got to hear what you mean by this. I mean, how was your takeaway on that? And like, I feel like that started some sparks early on this season that could be interesting as we continue with the rest of this year.
Bro, I think as a competitor, I'm right there with him. Absolutely. He's not on my level. Cause in my head, like, why would I ever give that guy? He could get his pride. He beat me. He won the Olympics. He's not on my level though. That wasn't me. You know what I mean? I could have did better that day. That he's not on my level. That's a supreme confidence of a champion, in my opinion. You know, like, oh, he beat you this time. He beat you when it count. Nah, he's still not on my level. Because why would I give him that basically bow down to this guy? Nah, he's not on my level. So 100% I respect and support what Fred said in that instance. And knowing Fred, I don't know him like he's my homie or nothing, but I've been in a room around him. Kind of, that's him. That was authentic. That's his take. That's how he feels. And I respect it, bro. To be honest, I mean, I could feel like one athlete is better than the other, or one got a faster PB. But if that's how he feels about himself, and respect, I respect it.
Yeah, I think it's bringing an interesting, I guess, kind of storylines, like I had mentioned, to these competitions. Like, I mean, I messaged out on my Instagram story saying like, "Yo, you can't miss out." Like, I'm not going to miss out on the next Beyond the Records podcast. Now I got to see what Noah's got to say about this. Or like, he even posted about how he wants to be on that show. Like, ain't nobody going to miss that show where it's like, oh, now we're talking together when I just told you you're not on my level, and multiple times in the Sprint Netflix series and all that. Like, he's clearly, they clearly don't get along. They're not friends. I'm sure that, they've been on 4x1s together. They've been cool, but they're clearly not friends. It makes that, like, we haven't had that in track and field in a while. Like, there hasn't been a time where two athletes clearly don't like each other, or at least one of them clearly doesn't like each other and is vocal about it. I mean, right now we have Josh Kerr and Jakob Ingebrigtsen on the distance side, but in the sprints, like, I don't think that's really been a thing for some time now.
Okay, so I've been watching a lot of WWE lately. Okay, I've been back in my WWE bag.
Same. Yeah, I'm in my bag
In
too.
in in WWE, you always got a baby face and you always got a heel. And the baby face is the good guy, John Cena. Well, not anymore, but like John Cena, Rey Mysterio, and then you got a bad guy, a heel. So in this situation, Fred and Noah, who would you say is the baby face, and who is the heel? Who is the good guy and who is the bad guy in a Fred versus Noah kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, he even mentioned it kind of in the podcast that he was in, and I think it's true. I think Noah is the baby face or the hero, and I think that Fred Kerley is the villain or the heel. Just based on the celebrity that he has. I don't know, when I see Noah, like, I don't see how he's like the bad guy. Like, I don't feel I don't know, don't feel the same. Like, when you the same talking trash. Like, when I hear Fred talk trash, like, I feel it in, like, oh no, like, I felt like even the podcast hosts on it, they were like, "Yo, are you going to like jump across this table and like fight me right now?" Like, they felt that tension where when Noah's has that trash talk, it doesn't feel the same. Now, yes, it's still powerful and it's impressive and it's important, but I think he's the good guy in this situation based on how America feels about him, based on how the world feels about him, compared to Fred, where I think he's the villain. Do you not think that?
That's interesting, bro, because I get what you're saying with Fred. I think Fred has a bit of a stoic kind of demeanor. He got a bit of that, that very blunt demeanor about him. And I think that might be a little bit off putting or almost like intimidating to some people. And then I think Noah is more so like um, uh, animated, very animated. And, that could go either way with people. and how they feel about it. But the way I really look at it right now, they damn near both heels, bro. Like they're damn near both bad guys. I mean, they both like heroes and they both legends in their own respect. I think they both greats. You know what I mean? All-time greats. But they kind of both heels in a way.
Interesting. Why would you say that? Like because I feel like you said, I feel like the way that the storylines have been for Noah, yes, I think that there are I think a lot of the outside public, and I know this because like I got a bunch of tweets. Actually, the person that showed me this podcast, you know, some of the tweets that he had said about he's not a fan of Noah, and he's not in the track and field space. He's said a whole bunch of stuff about him. And it's interesting because then there's that of like, people that just don't mess with him. And then there's others where he's definitely a lot more relatable. Like, there's a lot of people that, do the goofy dancing, love the anime, they want to be themselves, connect with, the struggles that he's mentioned that he's had. But then you also have the world champion of what stuff where, you upset the entire NBA and Drake as well. So yeah, I guess I can see it now that I'm thinking about it more. I guess I kind of see more of where you at. Yeah.
Yeah, and Noah has built a great community based on the person that he is, like the type of guy that he is, and like the fact that he's always himself. Fred always himself too, respectively. They've both accrued a lot of support and a lot of fans, but at the same time, since they are so unapologetically themselves, they've both commanded a lot of heat and a lot of naysayers and a lot of negative haters, and I've seen it all on both sides, but for both of those guys, so that's why I say they both heels. They either both got to be heels or they both baby faces. I don't know which one yet, but they both something though.
They both something. So then would you say if they're both heels, then would you say that some of the baby faces right now in the sprints for them would be like Lasili Tobogo, Kenny Bednarek?
He's a baby. He is clean cut baby face. Like, oh, he had the best story, the most like overcoming story. He was the underdog, Kenny Bednarek's the underdog. Quincy Wilson's the kid, like
he's literal baby face, like
literal baby face, Ariana Knight, and like these are the good guys that you always want to win, that you want to dethrone guys like Noah, guys like Fred. A lot of times international, like we're homers, American
Jacobs.
people. Obviously.
Yeah, you want like Jacobs would probably be in there.
Right, yeah. Jacobs would be in there. So it's stuff like that.
Okay. No, yeah. Like I think I hope that this Fred versus Noah storyline can develop. Like I was thinking about it just today of like, oh, it would be great if this podcast happened like they did it together like next week. And then I was like, actually, I don't want to see Fred on Beyond the Records podcast next week. What I want to see is Noah, like their regular podcast, Noah addressing it and talking about it. And then I want them to like race each other like later on in the season. And then I want to see them have him on the podcast at the end of the year to like really build it up. Because if you just do it right now, you miss that whole payout. Like you could make this something that people talk about. You don't want to squash that right away. So I hope that it kind of builds up. I hope that there's some other like, I don't know if you'd call it track beef or drama, whatever you'd want to call it. Like I'd like to see some more because it makes those storylines exciting. Like when athletes call out other people, like I know you want to be genuine and keep it to the sport and everything, and that doesn't happen too much in our sport, but it makes it fun, at least for me.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. It's more fun. We talking about storylines, we creating shit in our heads, man. It's fun to follow, be a part of.
So that should be an interesting kind of new stuff that went to fruition, but overall good stuff from Grand Slam. Kind of flipping the script a little bit, some other great performances and things that we saw within the track world. I guess we'll start with the Olympic champion herself, Julien Alfred, with the 300-meter world lead time of 36.05, beating Shericka Jackson in that same event at Miramar this weekend. Really like a comeback win, and held her off at the end there. Like I thought that Shericka was going to end up just really eking her out, but she held strong and kind of extending from her typical 100 200 meter background. I mean, we saw her do a 300 indoors, but What's your takeaway on that type of performance from her this early on within the year?
Julien Alfred is here. She's the one. It don't matter. And Sharika is more. She started, long sprints. That's really not Julian's wheelhouse there. And for her to go up to a 3 and win is crazy, bro. Like crazy. What do you think about it, bro?
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Like to put up those types of times and against that competition, like against Sharika, like now that's something special, man. Like now she's one of the greatest 200-meter runners in the history of this sport of what she's done. And to go in there and beat her, like Julie Alfred's just a game. She just wins, man. Like she finds ways to win, whether it's a race she should win or shouldn't win. Like she just finds a way to win. And like that's the best part about it for her. Like it's just consistency right now. And I thought it's gonna play great for her 200. Like it's gonna make like she's gonna be a player in this world championship. Like Gabby Thomas I'm sure she probably saw that, but then I'm sure Julien Alfred saw her 400 of like, all right, you dropped a nice 400 too. So I think there's going to be some good back and forths between them coming up here.
Absolutely, bro. Like I was just hella impressed. Now I want to see how the season's gonna unfold for her, bro.
Yeah, like I'm looking forward to her first open 100 or 200. Like it's going to be something crazy. I feel it's going to be something crazy. Yeah.
I was gonna pose an absurd question. We're not even gonna go there.
No, what you got? What you got? What's your absurd question? Come on, now I got to know. You can't just say I was going to pose an absurd. This is a podcast. This is where absurd questions are supposed to be posed.
Are we on world record watch for the
You were
200?
right. That was an absurd question for the 200.
Yeah,
For the women,
yeah.
man. Of all the women that are currently in the circuit, I would say that Julien Alfred has the best chance at breaking the 200-meter world record. I think that I got her over Gabby right now. Now, I think Gabby can go out and win, but I think that Julian has a higher ceiling of talent to go up and get it, where Gabby's phenomenal 100%. But I don't know if she's got it at that talent level that Julian is. And she has also that exact same type of range. I mean, we saw her do a lot of 4x4s at Texas. So I'd say she's probably the best chance at doing it, but even then it's gonna be a challenge. What about you?
21:34, bro. That's the record.
That's stupid speed.
Facts.
That's
That's what I
stupid.
ran in high school. Like that was my time in high school.
Damn.
Yeah, like that's sliding.
No, that's sliding, bro. Like it's not gonna be easy, but I think do you think the same thing where Julien Alfred's the best chance, or do you think somebody else has a better chance at potentially breaking it?
I don't know. I think this field is probably 4 to 6 women that I don't necessarily want to say they could make a push for the world record, but they could all 4 compete to do something very special. And that 4 I would probably say is Gabby, Sharika, Julian, and Sha'Carri. I think those 4, I could be missing a couple. Maybe Abby Steiner can make a push back this year off injury. But I think those 4 got a chance to do something really, really special this season.
Okay. Hey, I'd like to see it. I mean, Sha'Carri, I don't know if I'd say this year. I mean, maybe in the hunt, like I think she's close. I think Sha'Carri is closer to breaking the 100-meter world record than the 200-meter world record. Like I've seen some great times for her there, and even in the 100, I don't know if she's right there yet. Like I've always seen her more as a 100-meter specialist rather than the 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd like to be proven wrong. I just think it's going to be a tougher ask for her to go out and break that 200-meter world record. Wanted to, I guess, kind of last one before we get to your international athlete of the week, Mr. Abdul-Rasheed Saminu out of South Florida with a 987 2.2 wind. That is insane to be running those times this early and just barely not win legal, just barely missed out. I mean, he really had a breakout season last year. You know, USF took down Houston at Penn Relays in the 4x1. That's kind of really when he started getting his name out there. And then he had, I think, one of the fastest times in the country throughout most of the regular season. Unfortunately, didn't perform as well as he wanted to at the national championship, but still a name that we saw last year. What are you thinking about with that 987 here on the first weekend of April?
Yeah, bro is a beast, bro. Alien low key right now. Like for this early in the season to run a 987, like okay, it was a little windy, like a little bit too windy, like a little bit. So definitely the guy that shot up to the top of my pay attention to for the rest of the year list. You know, I'm excited to see what this cat gonna do for the rest of the year.
Yeah, no, I think he's going to be one of the ones to beat right now. I mean, he's done well in the regular season. He's had some struggles in the championship setting, which is, you know, where that's going to be, you know, the most important. So he's a dog, but that's crazy time. Now we've also seen some people that drop fast times in the beginning of the year not be able to sustain it throughout the rest of the year. We've seen those types of things in the past in the sprints. It can be hard once you go that quick to maintain it. I mean, for you, when you were running, whether it was in college or, you know, in the pros, did you ever notice that for yourself in the 4 or maybe the 2 of, oh, if you ran too fast too quickly, like was there any negative effects?
You don't ever want to think about that in the moment, but definitely after experiencing it myself, like I can say yes. You know, I ran a little bit too fast, PB'd by too much very first meet, and then 3 months down the road, I was like, damn, like why is my knee achy? Why is my hip sore? Like what? There's like I feel like it accrues like a little bit more nicks and bruises when your body's not used to running that fast so early. I think it throws everything off. The whole central nervous system, you just got to adjust. So I think sometimes it could play a negative effect, but also times it could just, you could ride that wave for a whole season. I've seen it be done as well. So,
Yeah, and give you a lot of confidence with the rest of the year. It just depends on
yeah,
how good your recovery is, I suppose, and how many times you're competing. So
yeah.
cool. All right, who you got? International Athlete of the Week, man. Who's it going to be?
Man, we had a fantastic week of track and field, bro. I was locked in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But International Athlete of the Week goes to none other than my boy, Kenny Bednarek, Grand Slam champ, 100, 200 meter, man. Shout out to you, Kenny. We going to get that certificate. Y'all hear the printer in the back is booming right now. So we're going to get that to you, brother. Proud of you, bro. Keep it going for the rest of the season, man.
There you go. You're just going to walk it over to his house? I mean, y'all.
Oh, no, I'm going to put it in the mail. That's rude. I wouldn't do that. That's rude. I wouldn't just go to somebody's house like that. I'm going to put it in the mail for him.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
What a man! What a gentleman! Just he's trying to be. All right.
Yeah, I'm a respectful guy.
Respectful kind of guy. No, that's good. That's important. That's important in this age. Shout out Kenny B. What a day. Great performances. So excellent. Well, another great weekend of track and field. I'm sure we're going to start seeing a lot of stuff for the next Grand Slam coming out with new racers or new challengers and just everything going on. So overall, great competition. Thank you to everyone for watching. Been another episode of Track World News Podcast. Remember, like, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend, subscribe. Have a good one. Peace.